and welcome back. I've got a fairly large project. I've got to replace two plastic connectors, and in this video you'll see the damage that has been done to these two connectors because of wear and age and heat and all that kind of stuff. It's effectively led to the two connectors, one on the back of the motor or the block, and the other one underneath the so it's a three-way connector underneath there. Both of them let go, and I'll show you what I'll do to replace those, and hopefully we won't have a blown head gasket as a result, because it was run hot, unfortunately, so it would not surprise me. Anyway, let's get started. To get to the back, which is right back where the firewall is down there, I have to remove all this. Very simple. You start just removing the plastic components here, or the rubber components here. Poor thing needs a bit of a clean. Now you've got these torque screws here, 1, 2, 3 and 4, that I've got to now take out. There's one under here, but you don't need to replace that. That's independent of this cradle here. So now it's just a matter of firstly getting rid of this. So with all that removed, we've got now good access down here, and looks like the problem is not the actual hose but the hose connector. I think it's that, because you can see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the two hoses, the one with the Jubilee clip and this one with the standard connection. Now last time this plastic here actually severed on here, so that was the reason for the coolant loss last time, but looks like this might be okay. So I'll just take those two out. I remove this hose. That should now hopefully give me a bit more access to this clip here. There we go. There we go. So this is a 10mm. It's pretty loose already. Now I've got to try to find the bottom one. Okay, let's have a look here. So you can see the corrosion. It's basically just stripped that lip off. As I suspected, that was stuck in there. And you can see how, if you're looking at this in detail, you can see how that has basically done that. That piece missing there was just me using that and then prying it out. Right, so I managed to get the new part. They had it in stock, which was very, very lucky, I think. But you can see the difference, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to clean up a little bit where the mating on the head, where this sits in, just to make sure there's not any rubbish left over and so on, so it's got a nice clean surface to basically have a nice seal with that. So I'll do that first, and then we'll start the rebuild process. So the idea is to tighten each one so that you're trying to put this in evenly. Okay, let's start putting bits and bobs back in. First comes this. Okay. Secondly comes oh yeah, perfect. Okay, everything is now in position. Let's just hope that's going to do the trick. Okay, got some pre-mixed blue coolant with demineralized water, and we're going to start doing the usual bleeding process. Oh, shit. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Where the fuck is that coming from? What the? This is really... I thought that was the issue. I mean, it was the issue anyway. It was going to collapse. But that is purging out. Well, this is another lesson, and I suggest you you take note. So aside from that connector being routed, the connector that's underneath the manifold, that one there that you can see, if you notice, right, I'll see if I can put up another torch to it. Don't know if I can get, if I actually can get it. But right at the end there, you'll see the hose connector, and you'll see that massive hole. Right there. Look at that. That is where the coolant was purging, because I was suspecting why so much coolant was coming out, and yet that connector was only slightly broken, the other one. But this is why. Check that gaping hole out. Look at that. Okay, so again, get those two parts. The rear connected to the head, and this one underneath the manifold. Okay, so just removed this first hose here. This is the only one that's got the clip on it. So there we go. Just got to get that clip. Of course, that's trying to get away from me. And then I've got to do the other two. What I'm doing here is just taking this hose junction off to give me more room to put my hand in there. So it's only an additional 3 bolts. Okay, that gives me heaps of room now to get in there. So the biggest issue I have is getting to that hose where you can see the silver sleeve on it, because that's got a clip that I've got to undo. So that worked out really well. You can see one hose in the back here. I'll wiggle that. That one. Then you've got the side hose. And then you've got that front one there. So using a 10mm, I was able to locate it all the way down there. And so now we just start unscrewing that. Okay, so there is another bolt. So see where there's that little T section there? So where it joins those two there, there's one behind that. And quite frankly, with all that stuff underneath here, I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get to it. What's now been like probably about 40 minutes trying to undo that last screw, ended up being, of course, an Allen head. Unbelievable. So I was trying to use a 10mm because this is what the other one looked like. And then I realised it wasn't. So I've taken that out. Now it's just a matter of, as you can see, my hand just reaches in just. There's quite a bit of room inside. Once you get your hand past in there, there's actually quite a bit of room. And away. That's the issue. Just to make things more interesting, so in addition to that, we also have that, which is snapped off. So this is that lip that goes there. Okay, where the rubber goes in. So I'm just going in there, and you can see the new versus the old. I just put a little bit of lithium on there. So that also cracked right on the flange area there like the other piece did. So well and truly due. I'm just going to try to fish out whatever is left in there. Oh, hard to see. Right, it's all back together again in there. And this has been a real slog. I mean, it has been painful. I spent hours yesterday trying to fit it in, remove it. The junction in there where that plastic connector fits into the head in there, that required a little bit of jiggering around. It was a very, very tight fit, and I ended up having to use a crowbar and gently wedge that in slowly. So I also had to clean the mating surfaces as well, and I used a Dremel tool with an extension, with a flexible extension to kind of get in and behind the filter to get to the face. So yeah, all of that is now nicely seated. There's those two connectors there and the hose. And now we're ready to put some coolant in, and hopefully we're not going to get any more purging out. So I'm using the approved BMW blue and the correct water. So I've just done the mix there. And now we just have to start putting that in there. Fingers crossed that there isn't anything else. There shouldn't be really. And then we'll have to go through the correct bleeding procedure. I've just done the coolant bleed, and unfortunately it looks like it's blown its head gasket. Not surprising really, it did dump all its coolant, and by the time, you know, that was realised and whatever, its damage was done. Again, this is a warning to you that if you haven't changed those two pipes, the ones that I've demonstrated in this video, do so. Do not delay, or else you'll end up with a scenario that I have now. In terms of the fix, I'm not going to do the head gasket on this. Effectively, unfortunately, I'm going to have to just part it out, sell it as a you know, for somebody else to do it or whatever. I just don't have the time. That'll be a mammoth job to do. It's not a simple head gasket fix like a push rod type scenario. This is much more complex. Even though it's a small motor and all that, it's still a much more complex and time-consuming project. And quite frankly, I just don't have enough time. So anyway, on the example of what happens when you don't change your cooling system, including those plastic connectors, and I hope that this will save your engine if you haven't done your cooling system yet. All right, thanks for watching.